If you're looking for a very budget-friendly way to increase the volume in your single exit equipped 19 and newer 5.3 Silverado, well then you might want to consider the MBRP installer system that we're talking about here today. Now this option will pack the 3-inch mandrel bent tubing along with an aluminized steel build and a very solid tone, all for right around the $400 price point. Install, according to the site, is going to get a middle of the road 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter and take a couple of hours or so to complete from start to finish, as we'll demonstrate later in the video. So if you didn't know, the Installer Series is MBRP's entry-level system and will offer newer 5.3 Silverado owners a very affordable way to bring your truck to life through a little bit more bark. Now the big reason for the lower price point is due to that aluminized steel material used, and we will get into that in a little bit, but first up, let's break down the sound clips you guys heard at the start of the video. And listen, there's a reason why this system has over 104 and 5-star reviews. It's because it just sounds so good. Just the right amount of volume while maintaining a nice deep tone overall. So breaking out my tried and true Wake the Neighbor scale, I'm gonna call this a solid 3 out of 5 on my 1 to 5, or again, 1 to Wake the Neighbor scale. Now there is a little increase in volume in the interior with this system in place, but as many of our customers have pointed out in the review section, it's not terribly noticeable while on long trips, and conversations in the car or in the cab are still completely no problem whatsoever. As always guys, don't take my word for it. Feel free to read up on the many positive reviews of the installer system back on the product page if you haven't done so already. But with the sound covered, let's move into the construction and build quality. And overall, guys, you're getting some really solid craftsmanship here out of the MBRP despite the low price point. Now that's because the cost savings comes in the form of that aluminized steel material, which again, solid metal overall, just not as durable long term when we're talking about corrosion resistance. So as a result, the installer system here will only get backed by a 3-year warranty as opposed to a lifetime warranty from the Pro Series from MBRP, which is basically going to replace the aluminized steel with a full 304 grade stainless build. Now, if that is something that interests you, maybe you prefer that long-term warranty and corrosion resistance, well, you can find that here on the site as well for a few more bucks. But materials aside, the rest of the system is pretty straightforward overall. You're looking at that 3-inch diameter from tip to tip, all mandrel bent tubing. You are receiving the MBRP straight through perforated tube design or muffler, which kind of works to shape the sound a little bit here without restricting any flow. Before lastly, everything exits out of your 4-inch polished tip embossed with that MBRP logo. Now again, the system is only going to apply to Silverado owners with the single exit exhaust and not the factory duals. However, if you do have the factory duals in place, you like the sound you're hearing from the installer system, well, there is a corresponding installer system for your truck that you can find here at AT. But now we want to get into the installation process, and again, site's going to call this a middle of the road 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, maybe a couple of hours from start to finish. But to give you a better idea of just how things will go down on your 5.3 at home, feel free to check out our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown now.
The tools used for this install are an impact gun, exhaust hanger tool, a marker, a tape measure, 15 and 13 millimeter sockets, an 8 millimeter Allen, and a ratchet. So the exhaust system on this truck has already been removed before for another one of our videos. Let's take a quick look on how to do that, and then we'll jump right back to me for the install.
First up at the uninstall here, of course, get your truck up in the air and properly supported either on jack stands or on a lift like we have it here. I have pole jacks supporting it at the end and the middle of the exhaust, and when we start unbolting it, we have some support. Grab your 13 millimeter socket. We're going to loosen up this bolt holding the clamp next to our catalytic converter. All right, next step, we're gonna grab our hanger removal tool and we're gonna pop out our hangers from our isolators. Now it's a good idea to grab WD-40 or PB Blaster or something similar to lubricate both sides of this to make life easier. There's a couple of these we'll have to remove along the exhaust. A hanger removal tool is definitely gonna come in handy here. Now on the side of our muffler closest to the rear of the vehicle, we have 2 hangers. And you can see I have my pole jack here because once these two come off, this is gonna start to drop down a little bit and we want that support there. I'm gonna grab my hanger tool and pop these guys off. Last hanger before the entire exhaust is free in one piece is right above our tailpipe. And there you have it. Now we can grab a helping hand, or if you can do this yourself, you can pull the whole exhaust off in one piece.
So before I start installing this exhaust system onto the truck, I need to determine the length of my intermediate pipe. Now that's all going to depend on the length of your cab and bed configuration. We're dealing with a crew cab that has 4 full doors and a 5-foot 8-inch bed box. So I'm gonna make my cut on my intermediate pipe at 23 3/4 of an inch. Now, if you have a short cab with a short bed, you're going to eliminate this pipe completely. If you have a long cab with a long bed, you're not going to cut this pipe at all. And if you have a configuration of a short cab with a long bed, you might have to make your cut at 33 1/4 inches. Now, I'm gonna make mine at 23 3/4, and I'm gonna take this over to the chop saw and make my cut. I'm going to take my measurement from the front of the slip joint, which is here where these slots are on the pipe and the expanded end, come back to 23 3/4 of an inch and make my mark. Once I have my mark, I can make my cut. All right, so we've measured twice and we're ready to make our cut. I've got this clamped into my chop saw. I've got my ear and eye protection. I'm going to make my cut now, and then I'll get it over to the truck and get this installed. So now that I've determined the length and made the necessary cuts to my intermediate pipe, I'm ready to start installing and assembling this exhaust system onto the truck. I'm going to start with my frontmost pipe that connects to the catback pipe here on the back of the engine, and then I'm going to hook this into the exhaust hanger and then work my way back until the end of the tailpipe. Next, I'm going to install my intermediate pipe, followed by my center muffler section. I'm actually going to install my center muffler section with my over axle pipe because my over axle pipe has the 2 exhaust hangers built into it. So that way, when I slide my muffler into place, I can support it off of those hangers while I continue to build the rest of the exhaust system. Next, I can install my tailpipe, and as you may have noticed, I left all of my clamps loose as I've been installing all of these pipes onto the car, and that's just to make sure that I can get all of the pieces into place, and then I'll go back, make all of my adjustments, and tighten down all of my clamps at the end. Yep, cool. Now that I have all of my pipes loosely installed, I've test fitted my tip just to make sure that it's going to sit exactly where I want it to sit. I'm going to start here up at the front at the ball flare clamp with my 13mm socket and tighten this up, and then I'm going to work my way back to the tip and tighten up all of the clamps in succession. Now I'm going to use my 15mm socket on my impact gun and tighten up the remaining clamps. Now I'm ready to install the tip and wrap up this install. I'm going to use my 8mm Allen socket on my ratchet and tighten down the bolt. And that's going to wrap up this review and install of the MBRP 3-inch installer series single exhaust system with polished tip and side exit, fitting your 2019 to 2021 Chevy Silverado 1500. Thanks for watching, and for all things Silverado, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.